Hello everybody, how's everybody doing today? So here I sit. I don't know if you're sitting over there. You're probably sitting there staring at your iPad or your smartphone or your flippy and listening to this or watching this, or maybe not. Anyhow, I'm just trying to adjust the camera, try and learn some different things with this program, and see if we can do a little Harp chat video, whatchamacallit, thingamajig. So when my chair's creaking away, I need a new chair one of these days when my ship comes in. All right, I got a haircut. How about that? Look at that. Wow. Ought to be good for another 3 months or so. The wings of a dove. Gospel music. There's some really beautiful gospel music out there. On the Wings of a Dove, The Old Rugged Cross, How Great Thou Art, It Is No Secret, which I've played before for you and told you the tie-in with that song and John Wayne. So if you didn't catch that, you should go back and look for the video I did on that, the video chat thing I did on that. There's a lot of wonderful, wonderful gospel numbers. It's going to chat about a couple things today, which kind of already have forgotten. The harmonica thing, I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but I think I got one for Christmas and got it in the stocking. Mom always had the stockings up there, and we got through unwrapping all our gifts, and there was always the stockings, and nuts and tangerine, and but there's always one last gift up there for all of us, for my sisters and I, and you always kind of, when everything was all done, sometimes you forgot about them hanging over the fireplace, and there was always like the last you'd forgotten, and all of a sudden, wow, you dump that out on the floor, and there was that little box, little box, and then you open it up, and I think it was maybe a Marine Band harmonica, and got that harmonica. I already played clarinet. The harmonica was, they didn't give you much instructions with it, just a little piece of paper, and it was confusing, and I think I learned to play a few little things on it, and I kind of lost interest with it and threw it back in the sock drawer. One little interesting story, though, when I was fiddling around with it, I had it in the back pocket of my pants when I was up at Himmel Park with a friend, and I remember I was wearing white pants and a red shirt, and we were coming back to the park, and the police pulled us over and wanted to know where we were going and what we were doing and everything, and I had the harmonica in my back pocket, and he was going, what is this? And I said, it's a harmonica. And he said, yeah, let's take it out of there. And I said, it's a harmonica, sir. And so, okay, well, they let us go. So that's one of my little harmonica stories. So, and years later, I pulled it out and fiddled around with it. And I've talked about the tabulation and how simple it is to play and fun to play. And something they call them the tin sandwich, and the things you can do with it. Last time I think I mentioned sails and things that you do to try and fall asleep, and how I got into sails. Mom used to, we had a big fig tree out front. She'd go out and pick figs and put them in a bag, and she had me go around door to door and sell them for 25 cents a bag. And I must have been 5, maybe even younger than that. But I'd go around the neighbors with these little bags of figs and sell them. Mom taught me some little tricks and stuff about how to sell. And I didn't like to sell, and I ended up basically all these years being a salesman. Um, Worked for KIKX radio and KCUB radio and newspapers. And after I got out of the Air Force, we were living in Phoenix, and I went to work for the Weekly American for Ev Meekum. I really liked Ev Meekum, by the way. He got a raw deal as far as I'm concerned, and he had an aura about him. You just were drawn to him. I liked him a lot. And I had gone in there, I'd been taking a correspondence course in cartooning, and I took my cartoons in there, and I was going to just really sell him on what a great cartoonist I happened to be and why he needed me for his newspaper. Well, he said, wow, you're really a good salesman, you're hired. And I thought, oh, all right, now I'm going to be doing my cartooning. And he says, but you're going to sell newspaper ads. So I was out beating the pavement, going in and out of accounts, trying to talk them into taking out newspaper ads. And I learned how to do that, and I learned how to do layout and paste up and doing my own ads and all that. But Diane and I eventually packed up and moved back down to Tucson, moved in with Mom and Dad, and I worked for the post office, and then I worked for KIKX and KCUB and the radio stations, and we got into a little rough part there for a while, and Diane was pregnant with Travis, and I was out looking for another job, and I came home and said, well, I'm going to be working for Tucson newspapers, 30 hours a week, $1.75 an hour, taking kids out in our car, door to door, teaching them how to sell newspaper subscriptions. So that was interesting, but we survived. Diane was working the school district, and they said every time you break a record, you get $25 cash. So I broke a record every night, beat out all the other guys selling with their kids door to door, by going out myself and selling before I picked the kids up, and telling the people, you've already bought the paper, you've agreed to subscribe, so in a while after school I'm going to bring some kids around. They'll come up to your door and listen to their little spiel, and then smile and buy the paper from them and make the kid feel really good. Don't tell them that we had this little discussion. And then I'd have some kids in the crew that were afraid to do it or weren't sure they could do it, and I used all kinds of little tricks. I tell one kid, I've got a magic pen here. You just do what I ask you to do, and remember how to overcome their objections, and smile and step back away from the door and take your hat off and yes ma'am and yes sir, and you'll be great. And when those kids got up to those doors that were already pre-sold, man, they'd come running back to the car with a big grin on their face, holding that new subscription in their hand, and they got paid for each one, and I made a bonus each time. So learned a few tricks there. Picked up a lot of it from Mom, because she sold Amway, she sold Stanley Home Products, she sold Sculptress bras, she sold Sarah Coventry jewelry, and I think I got a lot of it from her selling. So I ended up doing that for all of my career, and worked at the lottery, as you know, for 30 years there. That was a fantastic job, but it was sales, so you got to learn to schmooze and turn it on and off and play the game and smile, and that's what I did, and that's kind of what you have to do in life. All right, I guess I've rambled on here enough. I'm going to play this back and see how it sounds, and if you guys have any comments, just type them below, and it's kind of fun to do these, although I don't know how they're going over out there. If you'd like to say something, then respond, just tap on the glass and say, excuse me, Lauren, but I have to correct you on that, because basically that Nincompoop name you're using fits you to a T. All right. Okay, so I shouldn't be having this much fun. I better be more serious. Okay, kids. Catch you next time.